Captain Do-hyun stood at the large viewing window of his ship, the Relentless Storm. His dark eyes looked out at the stars that filled the empty space before him. He was proud of his ship, proud of his crew, and most of all, proud of what his people had become. The Ryukan people were special. Everyone in the galaxy knew this. They had come from a world that should have killed them, a planet called Ryuk 7. It was a place of endless volcanoes, burning acid rain, and gravity so strong it could crush normal beings. But the Ryukan people didn't just survive there. They grew stronger because of it. Do-hyun's body, like all Ryukan, showed the marks of their harsh homeworld. His bones were thick and strong, much stronger than those of other aliens. His skin could heal quickly from burns and cuts. The heat that would kill others barely made him sweat. These gifts from their deadly homeworld had made the Ryukan the strongest species in known space. "Captain," a voice called from behind him. Do-hyun turned to see his first officer, Hae-yun, walking toward him. Her steps were quick but careful, showing the natural grace all Ryukan had developed from living in high gravity. "What is it, First Officer?" Do-hyun asked, noting the slight worry in her usually calm face. "The night crew picked up something strange," Hae-yun said, holding up a data pad. "A signal from the unexplored sector we're passing through. It doesn't match any known patterns in our database." Do-hyun took the pad and looked at the reading. The signal was indeed unusual. It had a clear pattern that showed it was artificial, made by thinking beings, but it wasn't like anything he had seen before. "Could it be space pirates using a new code?" he asked. Pirates were always trying new tricks to hide their messages from military ships, like the Relentless Storm. Hae-yun shook her head. "No, sir. The signal is too strong and regular for pirates. And look at where it's coming from." She pointed to a set of coordinates on the screen. Do-hyun's eyes widened slightly. The signal was coming from deep in unexplored space, from a system that hadn't even been properly mapped yet. This was strange. Most species stayed close to the known trade routes and settled worlds. Few were brave enough to venture into unknown regions. "Wake up the main crew," he ordered. "Tell Jae-ho to get to the communications room and start working on decoding this signal. Have Yoon-seo prepare the long-range scanners. We're going to investigate." As Hae-yun hurried off to carry out his orders, Do-hyun looked back at the stars. In his 20 years of serving in the Galactic Federation fleet, he had seen many strange things, but something about this signal made him feel uneasy. The next few hours were busy ones on the Relentless Storm. The crew, all proud members of the Ryukan species, moved with purpose through the ship's corridors. Their special environmental suits, needed for work in normal gravity spaces, made soft humming sounds as they walked. In the communications room, Jae-ho sat at his station, his fingers moving quickly over the control panel. The young officer had always been good with patterns and codes. If anyone could figure out the strange signal, it would be him. "Captain," Jae-ho called out as Do-hyun entered the room. "I think I found something interesting about the signal." Do-hyun moved to stand behind Jae-ho's chair. "Tell me." "Well, sir, it's not encrypted," Jae-ho said, sounding surprised. "It's being broadcast openly, like they want anyone passing by to hear it." This was unusual. Most species were careful about their communications, especially in unexplored space. Broadcasting open signals was like shouting in a dark forest. You never knew who might be listening. "Can you tell what it says?" Do-hyun asked. Jae-ho shook his head. "Not yet. The language is unlike anything in our translator's database. But the structure, it's complex. Whoever made this signal, they're not primitives." Just then, Yoon-seo's voice came through the ship's communication system. "Captain, you need to see this. I've got the first readings from the long-range scanners." Do-hyun quickly made his way to the science station. Yoon-seo, their science officer, was staring at her screens with a look of disbelief on her face. "What have you found?" Do-hyun asked. "The signal is coming from the third planet in an unremarkable yellow star system," Yoon-seo explained. But the planet itself, sir, according to these readings, it's a Class 13 death world. The room went quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. Class 13 death worlds were the most dangerous planets known to exist. They were places where even the air could kill you, where the gravity was crushing, where extreme temperatures and deadly storms were common. They were places where complex life shouldn't exist at all. That's impossible, Heian said, voicing what everyone was thinking. No one could live on a Class 13 world. Even our home world, Ryak 7, is only a Class 11. But the readings didn't lie. The strange signal was definitely coming from this deadly world. And it wasn't just an automated beacon or a probe. The signal was too complex for that. Something intelligent was living there, something that could not only survive but build advanced technology on a world that should have killed them. Do-hyun felt a chill run down his spine. All his life, he had been taught that the Ryukin were special because they had evolved on a death world. Their ability to survive in conditions that would kill other species had made them the strongest in the galaxy. But if something was really living on a Class 13 world, plot a course to the source of the signal, he ordered. But keep us at a safe distance when we arrive. We don't know what we're dealing with yet. As the relentless storm changed direction and began its journey toward the mysterious signal, Do-hyun couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to discover something that would change everything. His people had always thought they were unique in the galaxy, the only ones strong enough to emerge from a death world. But what if they were wrong? The next few days were tense on the ship. The crew did their jobs well, but everyone could feel the nervous energy in the air. They were heading into unknown space, toward a world that shouldn't be able to support life, following a signal from beings they knew nothing about. Do-hyun spent much of his time in his private quarters, reading reports about other Class 13 worlds that had been discovered. None of them had ever shown signs of intelligent life. Most were so hostile that even automated probes couldn't survive on their surfaces for long. He also thought about his own people's history. The Ryukin had struggled for thousands of years to master their harsh world. Their bodies had changed over millions of years to handle the extreme conditions. How could any species survive on a world even more dangerous than Ryak 7? As they got closer to their destination, more data started coming in. The planet had large oceans of liquid water, but also vast deserts and frozen poles. It had active volcanoes, frequent storms, and regular earthquakes. The gravity was stronger than Ryak 7's, and the temperature changes between day and night were extreme. It's like someone took everything that makes a planet dangerous and put it all in one place, Yoon Seo said during one of their briefings. Yet the signal kept coming, steady and strong, and now they were picking up others. Hundreds of them, all broadcasting from different parts of the planet. Whatever lived there wasn't just surviving. They had built a whole civilization. Finally, after 5 days of travel, the relentless storm reached its destination. The crew gathered at the viewing windows to see the mysterious world with their own eyes. It hung in space like a blue and white jewel, clouds swirling across its surface in complex patterns. "It's beautiful," Heian whispered, standing next to Do-hyun. "Hard to believe it's such a deadly place." Do-hyun nodded, but he wasn't really listening. His attention was focused on the readings coming from the planet. They were detecting artificial satellites in orbit, signs of large cities on the surface, and evidence of advanced industry. This was no primitive civilization. These beings, whatever they were, had technology that might match or even exceed that of the Galactic Federation. "Sir," Jaiho's excited voice came over the communication system. "The signal. It's changed. I think they've noticed us." Do-hyun straightened his shoulders and took a deep breath. This was it. First contact with a species that had done what his people had thought impossible. They had not only survived on a Class 13 death world, but they had thrived there. "Open a channel," he ordered. "Let's meet our neighbors." As Jaiho worked to establish communication, Do-hyun couldn't help but wonder, who were these beings? And what would their existence mean for the Ryukin people's place in the galaxy? The pride before the fall was about to give way to a new chapter in galactic history, and nothing would ever be the same again. The bridge of the relentless storm was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers. Captain Do-hyun watched the main screen as Jae-ho worked to establish contact with the mysterious planet below them. Everyone held their breath, waiting. Suddenly, the screen lit up with an image that made several crew members gasp. The being looking back at them appeared surprisingly normal. It had 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, just like the Riken did. But there were clear differences too. Its skin was softer looking, without the tough, scaly protection that all Riken had. It wore no environmental suit, even though it was clearly in a room with normal gravity. "Greetings, space vessel," the being said, speaking through the translator. "I am Ambassador Kim Ta-won of Earth. We've been watching your approach and waiting for you to make contact." Do-hyun stepped forward, standing tall in his environmental suit. "I am Captain Do-hyun of the Galactic Federation vessel Relentless Storm. We detected your signals and came to investigate." The ambassador smiled, a gesture that looked both familiar and slightly alien. "Welcome to Earth space, Captain. We've been hoping to make contact with galactic civilization for some time now. Would you like to arrange a proper meeting?" Do-hyun looked at Hae-yun, who nodded slightly. This was the standard first contact procedure they had trained for, but something felt different about this encounter. "Yes, Ambassador," Do-hyun replied. "However, we have some concerns about the environmental conditions on your world. Our scans show it to be extremely hostile." The ambassador's smile grew wider. "Ah, yes. Earth can be quite challenging for visitors, but we have facilities designed for off-world guests. We can adjust the gravity, temperature, and atmosphere to match your comfort levels." This surprised the crew. Most newly discovered species needed help with such technology, but these humans, as they called themselves, already had it figured out. The next few hours were busy with preparation. Yoon-seo worked with the human scientists to make sure the meeting room would be safe for the Riken delegation. Ji-ho talked with human communication experts, improving their translation systems. Hae-yun studied the security protocols the humans sent over, finding them thorough and professional. As they prepared to go down to the planet, Do-hyun called his senior staff together for a meeting. They gathered in the ship's conference room, all wearing their environmental suits as usual. "What have we learned about these humans so far?" Do-hyun asked. Yoon-seo went first, pulling up her data on the screen. "Sir, their biology is fascinating. They appear to have evolved naturally on their world, despite all odds. Their bodies are different from ours, but they're incredibly adaptable. They can survive in temperatures from very cold to very hot, and their bodies can heal from injuries that would kill most species." Jae-ho spoke next. "Their language systems are complex but logical. They have thousands of different languages on their planet, but they've developed good translation technology. They seem very interested in communication and learning about others." Hae-yun added her security report. "They're organized and careful, but not aggressive. Their security measures are strong but not hostile. They seem more curious than afraid of us." Do-hyun thought about all this as their shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. The humans had provided them with a flight path that avoided the worst weather systems, showing they understood how dangerous their world could be to visitors. The shuttle landed at a special facility built for off-world visitors. Through the windows, Do-hyun could see the planet's surface. There were tall buildings reaching into the sky, green plants growing despite the harsh conditions, and humans walking around without any protective gear at all. Ambassador Kim was waiting for them in the meeting room, along with a small team of human scientists and diplomats. The room had been adjusted to match the gravity and atmosphere that the Riken were used to, allowing them to remove their environmental suits if they wished. "Please, make yourselves comfortable," the ambassador said, gesturing to the chairs around a large table. "We have so much to talk about." As they sat down, Do-hyun couldn't help but study these strange beings more closely. They looked so fragile compared to the Riken, with their soft skin and lighter bones. Yet they moved with confidence in their deadly environment, completely at ease. "I must ask," Du Hyun said, "how do your people survive here? Our scans show that your world has more extreme conditions than our home planet, and we need environmental suits just to function in normal gravity." The ambassador exchanged looks with his team before answering. "We evolved here, Captain. Our bodies adapted to Earth's conditions over millions of years. But more than that, we learned to adapt our environment to suit our needs. When it's too cold, we create heat. When it's too hot, we cool things down. We build shelters against storms and develop medicines to fight diseases." One of the human scientists, a woman named Dr. So-Yi, added more details. "Our bodies might look weak to you, but they're very efficient. We can run for hours without stopping. We can survive with little food or water when we need to. Our immune systems can fight off most diseases, and our brains can solve complex problems to overcome physical limitations." The Rican delegation listened with growing amazement. These humans weren't just surviving on their deadly world. They were mastering it in ways the Rican had never imagined. During the tour that followed, they saw more evidence of human adaptability. The humans had built cities in deserts, in frozen wastelands, and even floating on their toxic oceans. They had machines that could predict their planet's deadly weather patterns, and systems to protect against earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. But what impressed Du Hyun most was the humans' attitude toward their harsh world. Where the Ricans saw their planet as an enemy to be endured, the humans spoke of Earth with pride and even love. They celebrated its dangers as challenges to overcome, its diversity as a source of strength. Back on the shuttle, returning to their ship, Du Hyun's crew was unusually quiet. They had all grown up believing that their people were special because they had survived a death world. Now they had met beings who lived on an even deadlier planet, yet approached life in a completely different way. "Captain," Hyun said softly, "what do you think this means for our people?" Do Hyun looked out at the blue and white planet below them. "I think, First Officer, that we have much to learn from these humans. They've shown us that there's more than one way to be strong." As the relentless storm prepared to send its first report back to the Galactic Federation, Du Hyun knew that this discovery would change everything. The humans weren't just another species to add to the galaxy's catalog. They were proof that life could adapt to even the harshest conditions in ways no one had expected. The real question now was, what would happen when the rest of the galaxy learned about Earth and its remarkable inhabitants? The humans had mastered their deadly world not through physical strength alone, but through intelligence, adaptability, and an unbreakable spirit. These were qualities that could reshape the balance of power in ways no one could predict. Do Hyun had a feeling that the galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place. 1 week had passed since the first contact with humans. The relentless storm remained in Earth orbit while Captain Du Hyun and his crew learned more about these surprising beings. Each new discovery made them question everything they had believed about survival and strength. On this particular morning, Du Hyun sat in a human research facility, watching a demonstration that made his scales tingle with disbelief. A human athlete was running on what they called a treadmill, and she had been running for 2 hours without stopping. "This is impossible," Yoon Seo whispered, checking her instruments again. "Her body temperature is stable, and she's not showing signs of extreme fatigue. How can they do this?" Dr. So-Yi, who had become their main guide in understanding human biology, smiled at their reaction. "Humans are persistence hunters," she explained. "In our early history, we would chase prey until they collapsed from exhaustion. We can't run as fast as many animals, but we can run longer than almost anything on Earth." Do Hyun thought about his own people. The Rican were strong and tough, but they tired quickly. Their dense muscles and heavy bones made them powerful, but not suited for long activities. Yet these seemingly fragile humans could keep moving for hours. Later that day, they visited what the humans called a climate adaptation facility. Here, they saw humans working in different environments, from freezing cold to burning hot, often with minimal protective gear. Our bodies are very good at maintaining a stable internal temperature, Dr. So-Yi told them. We sweat to cool down and shiver to warm up. We can live in places from frozen tundra to hot deserts. He-Yun, who had been quiet during most of the tour, finally spoke up. But what about your soft skin? How do you survive injuries in such dangerous environments? In response, Dr. So-Yi showed them something even more surprising. In the medical wing of the facility, they watched videos of human healing processes, broken bones that knit themselves together stronger than before, deep cuts that sealed themselves without leaving major scars, bodies that fought off diseases by making new defenses against them. Our immune system is always learning and adapting, Dr. So-Yi explained. When we get sick or injured, our bodies don't just heal, they get better at fighting similar problems in the future. Do-Hyun remembered how proud his people were of their tough scales and quick-healing bodies. But this was different. The humans' healing wasn't just about fixing damage. It was about getting stronger from it. The biggest surprise came when they learned about human history. Ji-Ho had been studying their information databases, and what he found was hard to believe. He shared his findings during the evening briefing on their ship. Humans have fought wars that covered their entire planet, Ji-Ho reported, his voice filled with awe. They've survived diseases that killed millions. They've lived through times when their own weapons could have destroyed their world many times over. But each time, they didn't just survive. They learned from these events and grew stronger. The crew looked at the historical images on the screen. Humans building cities from the ashes of destruction, creating medicines that saved billions of lives, making peace after terrible wars, turning deadly technologies into tools for exploration and progress. But why didn't all this kill them? He-Yun asked. Such challenges should have wiped them out. I think I understand now, Do-Hyun said slowly. The humans don't just endure their harsh world, they learn from it. Every challenge makes them think of new solutions. Every problem pushes them to become more creative. He walked to the viewing window and looked down at Earth. We Recon evolved to survive our world through physical strength. We're proud of our tough bodies and our ability to endure. But humans, they survived through adaptability. Their bodies can change and learn. Their minds can solve problems in new ways. They don't just fight against their world. They find ways to work with it. Yoon Seo added her own observations. Their scientific understanding is amazing. They study everything, from the smallest atoms to the largest galaxies. They're always asking questions, always trying to learn more. The crew spent the next few days reviewing everything they had learned about humans. They found more surprises in every area they studied. Humans had created thousands of different languages and cultures, each adapted to different parts of their deadly world. They had art and music, things that seemed unnecessary for survival, but somehow made them stronger. They worked together in huge groups, sharing knowledge and helping each other overcome challenges. One afternoon, Do-Hyun had a private meeting with Ambassador Kim. He had been thinking about something that bothered him. Ambassador, he said, your people are clearly very capable. You have technology that matches or exceeds ours in many areas. Why didn't you reach out to the galaxies sooner? Why wait for us to find you? Ambassador Kim's answer was surprising. We knew we needed to be ready, he said. Not just with technology, but as a people. We wanted to solve some of our own problems first, to learn how to work together better. We didn't want to bring our conflicts into space. Do-Hyun thought about this for a long time. His people had rushed into space as soon as they could, eager to prove their strength to the galaxy. But humans had waited, making sure they were truly ready. The final revelation came when they studied human space technology. The humans had built ships and stations that could work in any conditions. They had spacesuits that were lighter but stronger than Recon environmental suits. They had already started planning for colonies on the deadly worlds in their own solar system. Look at this, Yoon Seo said during the final briefing. They don't just adapt to harsh conditions. They get excited about exploring them. Where we see danger, they see opportunity. Do-hyun knew he would soon have to send a complete report to the Galactic Federation. He would have to explain how everything they thought they knew about survival and strength had changed. The Ryukin were not the only Deathworlders in the galaxy anymore, and perhaps they had never been the strongest. But as he worked on his report, Do-hyun realized something important. Meeting humans hadn't made his people less special. It had shown them a new way to be strong. The humans had proved that there were many different ways to survive and thrive in a harsh universe. The real question now was, what could their two species learn from each other? The physical strength of the Ryukin, combined with the adaptability of humans, could open up new possibilities that neither species had imagined before. As the sun set on another Earth day, Do-hyun watched the humans going about their lives on the planet below. They walked under open skies, built homes in dangerous places, and looked up at the stars with dreams of exploring them. They were Deathworlders like his people, but they were also something more. They were pioneers of possibility. The galaxy would never be the same again, and Do-hyun was starting to think that might be a very good thing. 2 months had passed since the relentless storm first discovered Earth. Captain Do-hyun stood before the Galactic Federation Council, ready to give his final report. The great meeting hall was filled with representatives from 100 different worlds, all waiting to hear about the mysterious humans. Do-hyun took a deep breath and began to speak. Honored council members, what we found in the unexplored sector has changed everything we thought we knew about survival and strength. We discovered not just another spacefaring species, but a whole new way of looking at life. The captain touched a control panel, and images of Earth appeared on the large screens around the room. The council members murmured as they saw the harsh beauty of the Class 13 Deathworld. The humans evolved on a planet even more dangerous than our Rex 7, Do-hyun continued. But they did not just survive there. They learned to thrive in ways we never imagined possible. He showed them videos of human achievements. Cities standing strong against massive storms. Farmers growing food in places that should have been too hostile for plants. Doctors healing injuries that would have killed most species. Explorers climbing the highest mountains and diving into the deepest oceans. At first, we thought they must be physically stronger than us, Do-hyun explained. But we were wrong. Their bodies look weak compared to ours. They have no scales, no natural armor. Their bones are lighter, their muscles less dense. But they have something else, something we never considered important before. He paused, looking around the room. They have adaptability. Their bodies can learn and change. Their minds can solve problems in countless different ways. Where we Ryukin survived by becoming tough enough to endure our world, humans survived by learning to understand their world and work with it. The council chamber was completely quiet now. Even the species that usually had trouble sitting still were frozen, listening to every word. But the most important thing we learned, Do-hyun said, is that there is more than one kind of strength. The humans showed us that being strong isn't just about having tough bodies or powerful weapons. It's about being able to change, to learn, to work together, and to see opportunities where others see only dangers. Ambassador Kim stepped forward then. The human diplomat looked small next to the various alien species, but he spoke with quiet confidence. We come to the galaxy not as conquerors or competitors, Kim said, but as partners. Yes, we are strong in our own way. Yes, we have survived challenges that might have destroyed other species. But what matters most to us is not proving our strength. It's using that strength to help others. The ambassador's words caused excited whispers among the council members. Most species that survived on harsh worlds became aggressive, always trying to prove they were the strongest. But these humans were different. Do-hyun spoke again. The humans have offered to share their knowledge with us. They want to work with the Ryukin people to explore worlds that both our species once thought were too dangerous to visit. They believe that by combining our different kinds of strength, we can achieve things neither of us could do alone. He showed the council plans for new types of environmental suits, designed by human and Ryukin engineers working together. The suits use Ryukan materials but with human adaptability built in. They would allow people to explore worlds that even the Ryukan had thought were too deadly to visit. This is just the beginning, Do-hyun said. The humans have thousands of different cultures, each with their own ways of solving problems. They have arts and music that they use to share ideas and feelings. They have sciences that look at everything from the smallest particles to the largest galaxies, and they want to share all of this with us. One of the council members, a being from a gentle world with 3 suns, raised a glowing tentacle. But aren't you worried? They asked. These humans survived on a world even deadlier than yours. They could be dangerous. Ambassador Kim smiled. We understand your concern, he said. Our history has not always been peaceful. We have fought wars and made terrible mistakes. But we have learned from every mistake. We have learned that the greatest strength comes not from fighting alone, but from working together. Do-hyun nodded in agreement. When we first discovered Earth, we thought we would find beings like us, proud warriors who had fought their way to the stars. Instead, we found teachers, explorers, and dreamers who want to make the galaxy a better place for everyone. He showed them one final image, a new ship being built in Earth orbit. It was a combination of Ryukan and human design, created to explore the most dangerous parts of space. Its crew would be mixed, with humans and Ryukan working side by side. This ship represents our future, Do-hyun said. Not just for our 2 species, but for all of us. The humans have shown us that the greatest adventures don't come from proving we're the strongest, but from learning new ways to be strong together. The council chamber erupted in excited discussion. Many members wanted to send their own ships to Earth right away. Others had questions about human technology and culture. A few were still worried about what such a capable species might do. But Do-hyun wasn't worried anymore. In the 2 months he had spent with humans, he had seen their greatest strength, their ability to bring people together and find ways to solve problems as a team. After the council meeting, Do-hyun met with Ambassador Kim in one of the station's viewing rooms. They looked out at the stars together, 2 beings from deadly worlds who had found a better way to be strong. Your speech was very good, Kim said. You helped them understand us. Do-hyun smiled. I just told them what I learned, that there are many kinds of strength, and the greatest strength comes from working together. So, Captain, Kim said, are you ready for our next adventure? The exploration ship will need a good commander. Do-hyun looked at the stars. Once, he had thought he knew what it meant to be strong. Now he understood that strength wasn't just about surviving. It was about learning, growing, and helping others to grow too. Yes, he said. I'm ready. We have a whole galaxy to explore, and now we can do it together. As they stood there, a message came in from Earth. More human ships were being prepared for space. More Ryukan were coming to visit Earth. And all across the galaxy, people were beginning to understand that being strong didn't mean having to be alone. The age of the Deathworlders was over. The age of working together had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same again.